Here are my top 5 plugins for vocals. If you guys are not using these, you are definitely messing up and you're definitely missing out. So before I get into the list of plugins, I just want to make it very clear that this is obviously not a vocal chain. These are just 5 plugins that I highly recommend. And to be honest, I just use them so much that they've just become part of the DAW. They're just part of the furniture at this point. So for my first plugin, surprise, surprise, it's Auto-Tune, and it's the Auto-Tune EFX, but more specifically, it's the legacy version of it, which is the Auto-Tune EFX 3. Now, I've been using this version of Auto-Tune so long, I've done everything that I can to keep it running instead of upgrading to the newer one, purely because I absolutely love the way that it sounds on vocals. Just, it's so transparent. Whatever algorithm that version has just works so well for me. And literally, as I've moved over from like Intel to Apple Silicon chips on my computer, whatever it is, even if it doesn't support it anymore, I'll run it in Rosetta just so that I can run the Auto-Tune EFX 3. So if you can get your hands on this Auto-Tune and run it on your DAW or your computer, run it. Personally, I just got the EFX 10, which I believe is probably the closest to the EFX 3 for me. And I even did an A and B comparison in the studio, and it's definitely by far the next best one if you can't get the EFX 3. But if you can, definitely go with that one. No brainer. For me, it's the best Auto-Tune plugin for vocals. The second plugin is the Abbey Road Saturator by Waves. And I specifically remember the day that it dropped. I got the newsletter, I got the announcement, I went online, downloaded it, installed it, and the minute I put it onto my vocal chain, it was just a game changer. And at that time specifically, I was recording with the Shure SM7B with a lot of artists, so kind of getting that top end and that sort of presence that you kind of lack on an SM7B compared to like condensers and tube mics, literally was solved with the Abbey Road Saturator. Just literally whatever setting it comes in as default, just lower everything down by 50%, so it's about a quarter of the way through everything that you have. That's the easiest way that I can explain the setting. It just gives you this absolute lift and presence on vocals in such a nice way. To be honest, I used it for so long on so many of my vocal chains, and so many artists literally complimented the way that it sounded the minute I threw it on. So for me, it's one of the best saturator plugins I've ever used on a vocal chain, so use it. Abbey Road Saturator by Waves. The third plugin is going to be no surprise to anyone that's already in the mixing mastering space, but if you are new to it, then definitely get this compressor. It's the Arvox by Waves. This is honestly the best vocal compressor of all time. I literally cannot remember the last time I did not have this on every single vocal chain of any song in the last 6 to 8 years. It's literally my go-to vocal compressor, to the point that I don't even see it. Just know that that's my compressor for my vocal chain. It's so transparent, it's so easy to use, even the way that the toggles work and the way the whole thing looks as an interface, it's so easy, it's so simple. If you're literally mixing for the first time, you're gonna get crazy good results with this. And it actually has a tone, like you can tell when an Arvox is on a vocal. I don't know how else to explain it, but there's just a tone to the Arvox that's just unlike any other compressor. So if you're doing vocals, put an Arvox on it and leave the rest of the plugin. The fourth plugin is actually a one I use on my vocal bus, so all of the vocals that I have in a session are literally running through it, and that is the UAD Oxide. I honestly don't know how to articulate what this does to vocals, as well as just putting it on. It just brings all the vocals forward. It adds a little bit of tape saturation, it adds a little bit of presence and high end, it thickens out the mids. It just, I don't know, it just elevates the vocals, and it just does everything. And I used to try different plugins for the same effect, but I actually put the Oxide on by mistake, trying to put on another UAD plugin. And ever since I threw it onto my vocal bus, I've never looked back since, and it's a go-to. It's literally loaded up on every vocal session that I have. It's already loaded up on the vocal bus. For my last plugin, surprise, surprise, it's the Valhalla Vintage Verb. I honestly just did not feel comfortable with myself not putting this on the top 5 plugins I use for vocals, because honestly, I think this is the greatest reverb plugin created of all time. It's probably the GOAT of all reverb plugins. And honestly, if you're someone that's already using it right now, you're nodding your head. And if you're someone that hasn't used it before, or you haven't got around to using it, I don't know what you're waiting for. It's so cost effective, it's so cheap to buy. If you're recording vocals for the first time, just get a chain going and send it to a Valhalla reverb and thank me later. And if you've been mixing and mastering for the longest time, then just please continue using that reverb. So those are the 5 plugins that I personally use literally multiple times a day for all the vocals that I track and mix. If you think that any of these plugins are trash, feel free to let me know. But if you think there are any plugins that should have made it onto the list, please do let me know, because I'm always on the hunt for new plugins, and you never know, maybe one of them that you suggest might replace one of the 5 I have on this list. But yeah, like I said, this is not a chain, but honestly, if you're getting into the mixing space or if you're already in it, just use them. Trust me, you'll thank me later. And until then, we'll see you guys next time.